also with Sammy. I love tech problems. I don't know if you can hear us. If you can, bear with me. I'm gonna try and work out what's going on. Why the layout is so weird. What is happening? You can hear me. Awesome. 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 Wait, are you on a 4x3?
I don't think so. Let me just yes, the layout is different to what I was expecting. Let me just open that up real quick.
Ah. So, while we wait, Lego guys. I love Lego. It's one of my favorite parts because it's such a they're kind of separate but connected communities. So I really like when we get Lego because it's like getting to see something. Like, you know, and see a family member that you don't normally get to see. You know, someone who lives away from home. So it's like, ah, you, hello. I don't know if Lego feels the same way about us, but that's how I feel about Lego.
Absolutely no. It feels like a bit of a reunion every year that we have coming over and doing a run on the Potterthon channel. It's always great. It's always good fun, and I think we get to put together some really fun new runs a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, I do. The one thing I say about Lego, you have way too many categories. I tried to make a world record doc for the Lego community once, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, there's quite a lot. I think it should be good on my end with the one player 16:9 layout, if that's the one we're using.
It should be. It's not quite lining up on my end, but I don't know why. Guys, this is pot of fun. We always have tech issues at pot of fun. It's part of our charm. Um, right. I'll tell you what, one second. Lily, would you be able to try and look into that for me? While I talk. If you have time. 'Cause I'm a
Excuse
little
me,
bit
what?
confused. Okay, can you try and sort out the layout issue on the PC? That's okay.
Sure.
Thanks. Right. So we're just gonna try and sort out the layout issue because I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. And while the wonderful Lily does that for us, um, I guess. Oh, okay. I guess I'll ask you this, pack. So, um, Why Lego games? Because I know you're a big runner of a lot of the Lego games. What about Lego games
I mean,
excites you?
these games have been my childhood, kind of a lot of them. Mostly Lego Indiana Jones 1 was my main kind of childhood game, but also had Star Wars: The Complete Saga, the original Lego Batman game, and this game as well, Harry Potter years 1 through 4. So I've kind of been around. I've obviously played a few of them since I was a kid, and actually, me starting off in Lego was because a few of my mates back when I was at school wanted to, have a go at speedrunning a game, and the game they all wanted to run was Lego Lord of the Rings. So I got in through there. I think I ended up being the only one that actually did any runs of it. And yeah, I've just kind of found a good place, good community, and taken off from there really.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like a really awesome community. I think we're good to go. I just double check this. Yeah, uh, we're just missing the webcam, but is that okay if we just go without?
Oh yeah, no, it's just an image on there. It's not my webcam.
Yeah, cool. All right then. So I will quickly update that. Thank you for the heads up on that. So, guys, look, guys, if you wanted a professional math, when you go watch like ESA or GDQ, this is our grassroots homebrew marathon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're all having a bit of fun here. That's the most important thing, showing off some fun categories and games.
Absolutely. Oh, this is... Absolutely. I completely agree. All right. So, I'm just going to slide your name across. Okay. So I don't know why I decided to add sound effects. Okay. I think now then, we're finally ready to crack on. Let me transition that. So, whenever you're ready, count us down.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. I will do. Before I do, quickly, there is a bit of explanation we have to do for this category. This category is Character Token Rush. Basically, this game, as you can see on the pause menu, we have collected, so far in this file, 1 out of 167 characters. That one character is Justin Finch Fletchley, which we have to get in story. But aside from that, there are 165 other character tokens dotted throughout the game, 3 in each level, and then the remaining 107 or so are in the overworld. Or maybe not 107. My maths is probably wrong there. But yeah, there's an awful lot in the overworld. So this category will be starting from a new game plus file, so a game that's completed any percent already, and also has a few other things, like we have a couple of extras like Fast Dig and Fast Magic, which speed things up. And then we have our character token detector, so we very helpfully know which character tokens or where the character tokens are in case I forget any. But aside from that, it's a pretty interesting category because we get to build our own save file as we go. And actually, before we start the run, a bit of pre-run setup we have to do is to get a dark magic character. And the dark magic character we're going to get is Professor Quirrell, and we're going to be able to get him without actually owning the character. If he spawns in Diagon Alley, which predictably right now, I can't seem to find him, so I'm going to have to reload this real quick. Here he is. And what we can do is we hit him with Transfiguration and then switch to him. And for some reason that now means we can completely control Professor Quirrell. And as we go back to the Leaky Cauldron to start what will be our first level, if we drop out Professor Quirrell, we're going to be able to play as him in this. You see his character is highlighted on this kind of character select screen, even though we technically shouldn't be able to play as him. So with that being said, that's my intro. This is where time starts. So time will start when I confirm to selecting Harry here, in which case it'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And yeah, that is the beginning of the run. So we have to get all the character tokens we can. As I said, to start off with, a lot of it is down to building our save file as much as we can. So we see we've already got our first character, which is Fang. And Fang is one of the most useful characters in this game, because he has this ability, which we won't actually see in this level. Well, first off, he's got the fastest movement speed of any character. And then beyond that, he is also able to climb walls with a trick known as Fang jumping, which is a staple in a lot of the free play categories for this game. But that is our first level done. And yeah, we have the Fang character token. We also get Draco Hogwarts here, which is very important as well. We get Hagrid as well, but we don't actually use Hagrid in this run. Instead, we're going to go straight to 2-5. Another level where you get Fang by default. So we make good use of that. Actually, I need to go get Quirrell before I start this level. I forgot about that. So we need to go and get Quirrell again for Dark Magic. Hopefully, if we get good RNG, he'll be pretty close here. Not too far away from anywhere. About middle RNG spawn there. But we switch to him, we can immediately go through this door and we just have him in our party, drop out again, and we can go into this level. And one of the important things, I guess, to note with having Quirrell in our party like this is the moment we switch off his character, we can never switch back onto it. So what you're going to see me doing here as I do a bit of extra tech here just to get across that gap. What you're going to see me doing is dropping Quirrell back in on player 2 over here. And in free play, that's very easy to do, because the other player will warp directly to the base of where your character is. And then we can use Quirrell here to come and get the second token. And then we focus on this character, and this will be what's known as fang jumping. What we are doing here is basically jumping into a wall, not pressing a direction, then switching to fang. And that like clips fang half into the wall, and we're able to use that to scale walls as much as we can. And hopefully, this is quite a difficult trick, but the goal here is to get fang down into the transition, which is just below this tree, like so. And then we can go into the next room. We can then get this last token, and that unlocks Lucius Malfoy, which is again very useful. Lucius Malfoy is also surprisingly a dark magic character in this game, is classed as a Death Eater, whatever, and yeah, we use that a lot to our advantage throughout this run. Basically, Lucius Malfoy ends up becoming our token dark magic character. In a lot of other runs, you might see like Death Eater being used or Severus Snape being used, because they're both dark magic characters, but they're a lot slower to get than Lucius Malfoy, so we just use Malfoy instead. But now we go into 1-1. This is again getting another character that we need, which is Grip Hook. And basically what we're doing here is we're collecting the character tokens that we need and basically building up a shopping list, because the shopping in this game, if you've ever played this game, the ability or the menu for shopping is incredibly slow. So we only want to basically build our entire roster that we need to collect every other token with one shop trip. And we can actually do that in just 4 levels. So this is the third of the 4, and then we'll have one more to do. It's also worth noting, because I haven't mentioned this yet, that I'm doing what's known as 1P2C for a lot of this run, which is 1 player 2 controllers. So I'm controlling both characters at the same time. I kind of have my player 1 controller resting on my leg, and my left hand stretches across it, while my player 2 controller, I use my chin for the joystick and then hold it like a normal controller in my right hand and use my right thumb for the buttons. So we got our final level on this pre-shopping trip list here. And yeah, the important character we get in this level is the Grey Lady, which might seem like a bit of a weird one to get. Obviously, being a ghost, can't actually interact with very many things, doesn't have magic or anything unlike so many other characters, but there is one key reason why we need her in our party. Because she is, of course, the Ravenclaw house ghost, that means we can open any Ravenclaw associated doors. And there is exactly one of those that we need to open throughout this run. So we will be opening that up once we clear out this level. I'm also doing a strategy here, which is known as a super jump. I think, yeah, we'll have another opportunity to explain it, but for now, basically, we just set the game up in a state where I can then go through all the walls I can. I also just did a Lumos jump there. That is a strategy where you double jump by using the Lumos spell. Basically, you activate the Lumos spell, then switch off the Lumos spell, and there's a small window of time where you're able to double jump. And we're able to make use of that. And now I can breathe a little bit. We're going to go shopping instead. And this shopping trip does still have some optimizations to it. We're going to see, before we go shopping and buying the characters, we're going to take a short detour down Nocturne Alley, because there's 3 character tokens here that we need to get, and it's best to get them now rather than to get them at any point later in the run, because this is the only time we'll visit Diagon Alley in this run, because we're only shopping once. So that's 2 of the 3 tokens, and then we'll get the final one just by standing on here, like so. And now we will head into Madame Malkin's to buy our characters. 2 more tokens we need to collect in here as well, but they're pretty simple to collect. Just have to build this and shoot that. And then we go shopping. And hopefully, if all goes well, one, I'll have the right amount of money to be able to buy all the characters we need. Which is always nice when that happens. I think I do. As long as I don't accidentally buy something I don't need to. First character we need is Draco, I believe. Which comes just after George. There we go, there's Draco. Then it will be Lucius, I believe. And then pretty soon after it's Fang and Griphook. And those are the 4 characters we need. Amazingly, those 4 characters combined, that's Igor Karkaroff. That could have been bad. Oh, we need Grey Lady as well. Fang and Griphook. Okay, 48k to spare. That could have been worse. So yeah, that is our entire party for this run sorted out. So now we can go through the levels in order, apart from the 4 that we haven't played yet so far. Well, apart from the 4 that we've already played, sorry, to collect the rest of the tokens. We're going to see a trick here, which is known as a pet warp. Basically, by pulling out a pet and interrupting the character putting out the pet with Wingardium Leviosa, for some reason the game defaults the pet to warp to 0, on the map, which can be very useful depending on the room. And we're able to use that to kind of skip the entire troll section of this second level. Obviously we have the troll in the dungeon there, but we are not worried about the troll, because we just collect the token and exit the level. That was Madame Malkin. And then, yeah, these levels become very, very quick fire. But the one thing to make sure is after each level that my token count is a multiple of 3. If that's the case, then it's going well. So we're going to do another Fang jump here, kind of clipping Fang into the wall to be able to jump up this collision. And then hopefully not get stuck. There we go. And then I'm going to use one of the advantages of free play to drop a second player in over here. And that means we can have one player access kind of both, or one player access one token, which is a bit further down, while the other player accesses a higher up token. So yeah, it's pretty intense start here. We've got one more room here. I'm going to do a quick leaving of this room, and that skips a camera pan, which plays when you build the stairs. But that should be all 3 tokens from here. Yeah, there's 1-3 done, so we're about 6 levels in, so we're a quarter of the way through the levels. 24 tokens so far. That is exactly the amount we should have right now. I'd be more confused if we had more or anything. Okay, so now we go into 1-4. And we're going to see the Fang jumping again, but there's also a small token here which we need to get, which is Harry in Pajamas. One thing I tend to realize about this category whenever I play it is just how many variations of Harry, Ron, and Hermione the game devs decided to put in. All of them are basically the same, and I think they all kind of level up with the spells they learn, or with the spells you learn as you go through the game. But there's so many of them. So we're going to see here, going to get the token with player 1 here, while player 2 will be heading this way to go through the door. Bit of a roundabout way of doing that. But We go up here and into the final room of the level. We have a dark magic thing here, which is why we brought Lucius Malfoy with us. And we can go through. So yeah, I guess I haven't actually explained what free play mode is for LEGO games. So in LEGO, obviously you have the main storyline, which you have to play. That's kind of your any percent for every single LEGO game that's common. But also in LEGO games, we also have a free play version, which is where you re-enter the level and you can switch between any characters you want. The game tends to give you a party of characters you want, but you can also select some when you enter in the level. And as you go through the first time, there'll be certain things which are locked behind certain spells or abilities which the characters you have in that level might not possess. So instead, the game kind of brings you, or allows you to come back in, and you can freely switch between characters. And yeah, you get to replay the levels. Of course, switching between characters is a lot faster in speedrunning. It's why free play is a lot quicker than replay story. And also a lot more broken as well. But we will see here, I went past Lucius. 2 dark magic character token spots here. And that should be 27 tokens now, maybe? 30. Okay, I was 1 set of 3 off. But already that's all of year 1 done. All the character tokens from year 1 have been collected. So we go into year 2 here. Start off getting this token on the far side. One thing you might notice I'm doing is I'm waiting till the token is kind of collected on the full screen each time before doing any kind of movement, I guess, at all. Or entering a new load. The reason why I do that is because this game doesn't save or register the token until it's like fully collected at the front of your screen, which is a bit of a weird way of doing it, but hey, that's LEGO games in places. We're also going to see a new tech in this room. This is known as stored super jumps. Basically, what we got to do is we got to force the game to jump. We're going to do that by switching, and that's a scripted jump, and then run into a position, and hopefully the character will fly off in a random direction, but hopefully it should be the right direction to send us through the door, and we're able to skip doing what you're supposed to do for that run, which saves a good few seconds there. It's a very nice time save to have, found by Seed recently. It's actually not that recent now, it's about a year old now maybe, but it's a very cool piece of tech, and it's annoying the kind of, you need almost a perfect storm of things to come together for it to work, which is a little bit annoying because it is such a cool tech. It would be really nice if it was more universal than it is, but unfortunately that's how speedrunning goes. I'm going to do another Fang jump here. This just skips a little bit here because we still have to fight Dobby in this room. We can't skip to the end of this room entirely, unfortunately. But I will get to do a new tech here, and that is where we drop out as this camera pan's going on, and that'll allow us to skip watching the camera pan. One of those tricks where if you haven't seen anything that looks suspicious or looks like it slows me down, then it probably means I've actually done it right. Because, yeah, hopefully if all goes well. You'll see the dropout, but then obviously won't see a camera pan afterwards. So I'm 2 for 2 so far. There is a third one here, which we just hit. They're very easy to do, actually, very lenient, but they only work in this level, which is really weird. Just one of the weird quirks of this game. Failed that Fang jump. We've got one more token to collect here. This is another dark magic one, I believe. Yes, it is. And that is Madame Pomfrey. Madame Pomfrey is actually a character we could use in this run if we wanted to, because she has a she's a hooded character, which means she doesn't have to use a wardrobe, get earmuffs to deal with mandrakes. But it's just not faster to do that level kind of without Fang and such. So that's unfortunately not in the route. Which does lose a little bit of time here and there, but it's just more beneficial throughout the entirety of it. So there is one character token in this room here, but I'm actually not too bothered about it for the moment. I'm going to focus on doing what we actually need to progress this room, which is to build the Polyjuice Potion in full. So my 1P2C here will be focused on putting this item in, and then I'll go with Hermione to grab this token. We're going to see another tech in this room just coming up, which is known as a pet recall. Basically, by putting a pet down and then recalling the pet through the transition, the game draws a line between the pet and the player, and if that line goes through a door, then it classes you as having hit that door. And we're able to use that to save a decent amount of time in certain places. Okay, 39 tokens, still on a multiple of 3, that's a good sign. But unfortunately we do go into a small bit of RNG section here. So for anyone familiar with the any percent speedrun, this is a pretty notorious section because it's the one section where RNG is the major thing that affects the run. Basically, Myrtle will throw pieces in this phase and the final phase. And what we want is for it to be a normal piece. If it is a silver piece, then we can't, you know, throw it back at the doors, and that loses some amount of time, which is unfortunate. So only 2 silvers in this phase is not too bad. I think each silver piece loses 5 seconds in this phase. 3 in the next phase or something like that. That's actually really unfortunate RNG. Myrtle throwing a piece from a cubicle that had already been destroyed. It shouldn't happen, but sometimes it does. So we've got one more to go. It's always the last one that has the worst RNG. Actually, you know what? For marathon luck, that could have been a lot worse. But now we go through this room. This is a very cool room. This, in the normal game, is kind of Tom Riddle's flashback section. Which Harry gets from talking to the diary. But we don't need to worry about that, because we can just bang jump to the final thing which ends this room. I think this is the one level where we actually have to play, in terms of, at least in physical position, we go beyond the ending of this room in this category. If the game lets me fang jump, there we go. Because the final token here is actually beyond the archway you need to finish for ending the level. But it is still quicker to save and exit out of the level, which I'm doing each time, rather than your normal playing through to the end of the level. And it's so worth it for Professor Vector, who we never come across or interact with again. 42 tokens though, good number. And we have a slightly different tech coming up here as well. This is known as a Leviosa lift. Basically, by using the Wingardium Leviosa spell on a character, you get lifted up a certain amount, but that amount changes based on where in the game's coordinates 0 height is. So the floor in this level in particular is in the negative coordinates. The 0 height is actually up where Hermione is right now, which means you can lift Hermione up to that kind of 0 coordinates, which is very strange. Small little quirk of this game, but it does help save a decent amount of time. And yeah, there's a lot of tech, in particular to the levels, which we start first. But then as we go into the kind of overworld section of this, where the characters are stored in the overworld, there's a lot more kind of routing to it in terms of the order you take things and the characters you have in your party. So it kind of, this category in particular gets the best of both worlds. That's what I'm trying to say. Which is quite nice. It's a nice kind of bridge between the two. It's like doing 100% but not completely doing 100%. So yeah, it's quite a fun mix. Again, with player 2 here, I'll be making... Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. I'll be making my way with player 2 to the 2 character tokens that we have in this level. This level is one of the weird ones in that the character tokens are just stored in the exact same position as each other. Basically identical, just 2 boxes of character tokens. And then with that done, I can move player 1 over to the door. And we can enter the door like so. Small little time save here. Tom Riddle's meant to push you back from kind of this vault that I'm accessing with player 2. But because player 1 takes priority and is standing in a close enough spot to Tom Riddle, he just doesn't move away, which means player 2 can just kind of sneak in and heist that character token, I guess. If that didn't happen, then that room would take a lot longer, like a minute and a half or so longer. Yeah, we go into 3-1. And again, we have a bit of a slower section here. This is our boss fighting section. We have to fight the Monster Book of Monsters, which is quite slow. There's not too much to do in this phase, or in this section, but then after this section, once again the intensity ramps up a little bit, and we collect the tokens kind of as quickly as possible. But yeah, this is a lot of small things you can do in this phase, I guess. So it's like using magic on the paintings as early as possible and hitting them as early as possible, that kind of thing. That's kind of all you can do to speed this up. It does help we have the fast magic extra. That saves a good few, probably about a minute or so in this run, because there's so many things we have to use Wingardium Leviosa on. Using fast magic makes it an awful lot better. But now we go back into the more, well, back to normal, I guess, for how intense this category is. We're going to be jumping over the train to bypass a camera pan here. And then we are going to get 2 tokens on the right side with player 2, while the left side is opening the train with player 1. Because there's 1 more token just in the room beyond this, which we need to get as well. Which is just here. We get the trolley witch. And then promptly leave the level. So yeah, if anyone's a bit confused as to where we are in the story, I guess, we are now in year 3, level 2, which is Hogsmeade. So this is taking the path, I guess, down using the Marauders map with Fred and George. We use a small bit of tech there, which is known as full stalling, to be able to make it to this platform. Skip around here. And collect this token, which is Crab in a sweater, looking all fancy. And then we can make our way out of there. And we have, again, to open the room here, kind of as we're collecting a token. That's quite a common theme. We're going to do a fang jump up here, which is going to skip a small camera pan where we can't have any movement. And then using this full stalling technique where I'm switching from one character to another pretty quickly. And that allows us to, you know, traverse kind of greater distances than we'd maybe expect. So our goal for this character token is to get this wizard to warp to the right places, but this wizard is pretty reluctant to warp to the right places. But then once we get him here, we get to scare him off, and he gives us another version of Draco. I haven't been counting how many versions of Draco that is. I feel like it's 6 or something by now. But yeah, we now go, because we played 3-3 already, we go into 3-4, which is the Shrieking Shack with the Whomping Willow. This has one of the hardest tricks in the run, which is known as Angry Tree Skip. Because this tree is kind of angry at us, and we skip it. But the way we skip it is pretty cool. So we get out of bounds here, hopefully. Okay, well, I fell back in bounds, but we get out of bounds just here, and what we're going to do is fall down below... Oh, I fell back in bounds again. Yeah, fall down below the map, and for some reason there's some collision there which we can jump on. Okay, once I stop falling in bounds. This can be quite difficult to land. Okay, there we go. Fall down. And if you land in the right spot, you'll be able to put Crookshanks down. Maybe not quite there. But by being able to put Crookshanks down, we're able to do another pet recall. Which is if you draw a line from where, and if you put the pet down to where the pet is itself, when you recall, then if that hits a transition, you should be able to skip it. I just need to get Crookshanks to fall down, which is taking a little bit of time here. This is a notoriously difficult trick in both any percent and in categories like this it still persists, but Crookshanks does not want to make an appearance today. A little bit camera shy maybe. There we go. And then with Crookshanks here, recall through the transition like so. And that means we skip doing the entire boss fight, which does save a lot of time, because that boss fight is a long boss fight. Even with how many attempts it took me there, it still probably saved about a minute or so. So we're on the inside of the Whomping Willow, one of the other secret passages. But we don't need to do everything that the game expects us to do here, because instead we can use Transfiguration to shrink Hermione's hitbox, and then as Hermione grows back, she clips through the wall, and we're able to use that to kind of skip that room. Oh, Hermione couldn't target that. That's a little bit annoying. There's a little bit of RNG in this room with what spot is kind of Peter Pettigrew as we're chasing him around, or Scabbers, I guess. No spoilers here. Oh, as to what spot he's going to appear in. But then once we do that, we have one more token to get, which is right by the start of this next room. Final token is another version of Hermione. And yeah, we're on to 3-5 now, so we're already in the time turner part of year 3. Which is pretty impressive. So now, in this section, we've got to use, or got to just put the Mandrake away. And by doing that, we'll be able to free Buckbeak, I think is the whole plan of this. But first, we've got to feed him a fish. Or at least try and get him to feed a fish, because for some reason, that reveals the pieces to build a barbecue. I do like the kind of variations, specifically in this Lego game, between like accurate retellings of the, you know, Harry Potter stories and goofy sections like this where you need to make a barbecue for some reason, or spit roast, I guess. It's a nice contrast. So yeah, here we actually take both characters up, which is something we don't normally do. But one character has to make this massive trek over here in order to collect this token, which is Professor Lupin. Again, a token we really should use more, but we just never get the opportunity to. But once we have that token, there's 2 more in the final room. And these will be pretty quick to get. So first one is with Harry. Once we find Harry, there we go. And this is a parcel tongue. One of the only tokens which is hidden behind a parcel tongue door. There's really not that many in this game. Quite an underused kind of asset in this game. The other one is behind a dark magic rock, which certainly is not underused in this game. There are so many dark magic rocks. Okay, so first part of this level, we're also going to see something a little bit different here. This is another different tech, kind of, or at least a very different skip. So we're going to go directly to that character token you can see just below. But we have to climb this invisible wall and then jump off at the right time so that we go over another invisible wall to be able to make it here. The door then warps us through here, and we continue about the level despite not taking the path that the level intends for us at all. And then with Fang, we can jump up this wall here, fall down, and hit the door to the next room, again, without actually hitting this room at all. We go through this room, and then there's one more character token here, which is locked behind some more dark magic. But first, with fast magic, it is quite a battle to clip this bird into the right place. Token is waiting for us just here. One of the best characters, Sirius Black, but of course, we don't use the token. Instead, we go on to year 4 now already. And year 4 starts off with quite a bit of 1P2C, 1 player 2 controller movement. You're gonna see that a lot in this room in particular. Basically, you've got to rescue 4 Weasleys before them finding out that Harry is missing. We also stop off to collect the Death Eater character token. Another potential dark magic character we could use for this run, but it's just a little bit difficult to access him. So instead we go this way, and then we get to do some more tech here. This tech's pretty fun. Basically, by spamming attack and swap character, you're like I guess, timer on how quickly you can chain attacks gets refreshed each time you spam. And because of that, you can save a decent amount of time by spamming attacking things. We unlock David Tennant, Barty Crouch Jr. And then head over to 4-2, which always in collectible categories, this level stands out as one of my favorite ones. It's even better than all crests in this category, because in all crests, one of the crests you have to get is quite slow. In fact, two of them are. In this category, we can just go all the way through, do massive skips over the dragon enclosures. And we'll get our first character token here. And then instead of going around to go up onto the bridge, we can just jump up from here. And then jump straight across that bridge like it doesn't even exist. And then pop down to here to pick up this token. And then we've got one more token in this room. And yeah, that is all we need to do for the level, but it's super fun to play through that, especially when it goes cleanly. We'll go into 4-3 now. This is the first task where we find the dragon that we're fighting. This is one of the harder tricks in this category, is not dying to that fire. It's actually really precise to not die to that fire. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to there, so I lose a few seconds as a result, but it's pretty cool to see when that happens. Okay, we can skip this platform here with a well-timed Lumos jump, and then using Fang we can skip that platform. Okay, took a couple deaths there, but that's okay. And to end this room, the game only checks if you're on the top platform, not if you've built the stairs or anything. So we can just do a jump up here with Lucius Malfoy. And that saves a little bit. And just scale that wall for a little bit of fun. You can save a little bit of time if it goes perfectly, but it very rarely goes perfectly. But this is where being Fang is faster, because Fang has better movement speed, so we use Fang to be able to pick up this final token and complete the level. So yeah, believe it or not, we only have 3 levels left in the kind of overworld section. Oh, sorry, in the level section of this run before we move into the overworld. A couple of them are quite cool though. This level I think is really good in this category. It's not my favorite in kind of normal LHP, but in this category you've got to balance kind of your 1-player 2 controller movement with collecting the tokens that you have to, which makes it quite interesting. You can have a small camera pan here just to show the water filling up. And then once we get these two, we can pop down to the lower section, which I believe is meant to be the Prefect's bathroom. Had to be very careful there not to put both shells in at the same time, because if you put both in frame perfectly, then you softlock. Because they'll both go into the same spot, and all of a sudden there won't be one available. Okay, this is definitely going well so far. We have 2 more levels left. 3 tokens to get in this one. This is our token underwater level in this game. So, naturally, being a Lego level though, the underwater physics are quite broken, and you may notice already with player 2, we are under the floor. because this is like a pseudo two-dimensional kind of area, but in free play, there's a couple of characters which you can attack with that move you either towards the camera or away from the camera. And one of them we have in our party, which is Grip Hook. Grip Hook is actually a really useful swimmer for us, which not many people would expect. But we can use his attack, chaining his attack to get out of bounds, and then we're going to use it again here to get back in bounds. Unfortunately, I hit a spot there where there was no water. Hopefully we will clip back soon. That should be good. Yeah, okay, we're back in bounds. Nice. And we could do the same in this room of a different bit of collision here. Once Gripper gets to the right spot. We've collected Guitarist, who's everyone's favorite character. For those of you who don't know, this game has an entire band attached to it. So we have Guitarist, Vocalist, Drummer, and Bassist, I think. I clipped in bounds there. That's a little bit annoying. We will still do this out of bounds, but I'll set it up from here instead if the game will let me through. Thank you. We can attack off of this instead, and that'll clip us out of bounds like so. Once again, we want to be Fang here as much as possible. Fang has the fastest movement speed, both underwater and above water. I should be... yeah, that's the end. Might have even gone too far there. There we go. And then we get our last token here, which is Crumb Shark. Crumb Shark does have a lot of uses in other categories because he doesn't hear mandrakes, and also is a strength character, so can pull strength handles. Probably doesn't get as much use as he should because Fang's also a strength character and uses strength handles, but he can be very useful for dealing with mandrakes in some categories. We're going to see a small bit of tech here as well. So I'm going to be doing another pet recall. Basically, this game, or these rooms, are a little bit of a puzzle where you're meant to build the statue in the middle to reveal the right order of doors you have to enter. But they also left the final trigger open. So by doing a pet recall, you can kind of skip the warp command that the game has and just progress straight through. So we use that there. So in this room, we're going to be working mostly with player 2 here, because player 1 gets sidetracked by picking up these characters. We pick up a Maze Task Fleur, and then we should have one more token. Yeah. Yeah, okay, 6 out of 8 is a good sign. One of the annoying things with this area is these flowers you have to hit, or these plants you have to hit, because it can be very difficult to spot a couple of them. And if you miss one, you kind of, at least the first few, you have to restart the entire level to get them again. So we hit the 7th one there, the 8th one there, and that should be all our character tokens. I feel like I've missed one, but I don't think I have. We'll check if it's 78 here. Okay, 78 character tokens. So that is the overworld section done. Oh, sorry, that is the level section done. And we now move on to the overworld section. And basically each room in this game, in the overworld, which is Hogwarts Castle, tends to have at least one character token hidden somewhere. And you'll notice these character token collections are a little bit slower because now each time we collect the character token, we have to wait for kind of the collection animation to come through. We've collected all the tokens from Gryffindor Common Room now. and can now make our way up. And we're going to go to finish collecting everything we need to in the other dormitories first. And in each of these dormitories, they all have a door which is locked behind you using a character of that specific house. So we're going to get the Grey Lady, which will be Ravenclaw, and we're going to have Justin Finch-Fletchley for Gryffindor. Not Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. We're going to have... who else? For Slytherin, we have Draco Malfoy, not Lucius Malfoy. Lucius Malfoy is apparently not a Slytherin according to this game, or at the very least is not, you know, able to open the Slytherin common room door. But we've got 2 character tokens to collect in this Ravenclaw dorm. The first one is up here. And then our second one will be just above. Yeah, surely that means Lucius is a Hufflepuff, right? I mean, to be fair, haven't actually tested if he is or not. But it would be an interesting combination if they chose to put that in. But yeah, we come through here, and we're going to be changing characters again now, because we don't need the Grey Lady anymore. Instead, we will need Draco for Slytherin. So we get Draco here. And then we'll make our way into Hufflepuff. So the thing is with kind of a lot of routing in the overworld for this game is that these character tokens... Oh, sorry, in your party, you can only have 3 characters at any time. Unlike Harry Potter Years 5 through 7, where kind of you drink the Polyjuice Potion once, and then you have a full roster of characters. In this game, that is not at all what happens. You have to drink the Polyjuice Potion every single time you want to change character. So we end up doing that a lot over the course of a run. We have like our main base loadout, which covers most bases, which will be Hermione, Lucius Malfoy, and Fang. And that covers like 90% the things we need to do, but there is the odd area here or there where we will need different characters, and for that we use the Polyjuice Potions, which are dotted over the overworld. So yeah, again, as we leave Hufflepuff, we're going to be doing a lot of those changes now. Need to make sure my characters are right. We'll have it like this. So obviously Draco will remain on player 2, so we can enter Slytherin. But we're actually going to change both of the other characters, because for Slytherin in particular, not only do we need Draco, we need Lucius, and we need Fang. Because we need a strength character to pull strength handles. I think we need Lucius for some dark magic somewhere. We either need him in this room or the next room. But it's just quicker to do that all here. We've got to clear these metal locks with both characters here. I'm also going to be opening the door with Draco, kind of as we're doing this. And yeah, this opens the way for us to get 1 character token. And apparently this is it is a really easy character token to miss. And a lot of casual players have fallen foul to missing that 1 token in particular. It's not very obvious, but it is Rita Skeeter, I believe. So I've got to activate these lamps to spawn another character token. That lamp's the hardest one to get. The other one is somewhere, and I've forgotten where it is. Ah, it's there. Just hiding suspiciously in the corner. But then we collect this token, and we'll be heading on up. And yeah, that is all the dormitories complete now. We are going to make a long trek now up to Dumbledore's office. Which, if you've played this game before, involves the grand staircase and a lot of walking up this staircase. This staircase takes quite a while to traverse. Because, yeah, we got to do so many of these camera pans to, like, switch the staircases and stuff. Oops, Lucius accidentally hit Fang there, that's not good. We will make a small stop off though, a quick detour, to grab this token, and we will also head into Muggle Studies. Which is a very interesting room that you never need to come across, like, unless you're 100%ing this game. But it does have 3 tokens in it. Kind of dotted around. I believe Mr. Mason and Mrs. Mason are both in here. Yep. So we collect these tokens. And then continue our way up the stairs. Not too much longer of a trek now. The one thing with these staircases is to make sure that, like, every character's on the staircase. Oh, sorry, on the end of the staircase, because the staircases most of the time won't move unless everyone's in the right place. We now make our way up to Dumbledore's office, and there's a reason why we have this very specific loadout right now, and that is because Dumbledore's office doesn't have a Polyjuice potion. So if you, like, need to go back for characters at all, it's a very, very long trek back. Thankfully, we won't have to do that. I need to pick up this. Then we get Nearly Headless Nick here. Get our final ingredient for the strength potion. We're going to build this strength potion, but then not actually drink from it, because we already have a strength character in Fang, which saves a tiny bit of time to have. Not much at all. But it's worthwhile having Fang anyway, because Fang has faster movement and all that. But we can avoid having to drink that. But we do still need to build that strength potion for some reason, or this strength handle slot just doesn't spawn. But once we've done that, we get a load of planets. And we get to take on these planets. One thing I'm being very careful of here is my movement with 2 characters. Because this room is one of the few rooms where... Oh, are you going to hit the final thing? There we go. This room's one of the few rooms where there isn't a fixed... or there isn't a split screen. Both characters are always on the same screen. But that means if for some reason one character gets pushed off screen, the game does what's known as a controller lockout, which is where the camera drops in, or sorry, the game drops you in on a kind of ghost controller, which you can't use at all. And that means that basically you're just soft locked until you exit back to the menu. So avoiding that is very important. It's a very weird glitch that can happen, but there's literally nothing you can do about it if it happens. But anyway, we've done everything up here. We can now make our way down. And one of the first things we're going to do in this next room is get rid of Draco, because we don't need Draco anymore. We have our dark magic character in Lucius. We have Fang as our strength character. And then we have Hermione as our normal character. And that's what we need to complete at least the next few sections. We're going to get these torches, but the rest of those torches are outside, so we're going to come back to them later. Instead, we're going to do this with Hermione and do a very precise jump here with Lucius to avoid whatever you're supposed to do here. And this Lumos jump is a little bit difficult to be able to grab that token, but feels very satisfying to pull off. That skips a decent amount of, yeah, whatever you're supposed to do there. And then we also grab Ravenclaw Girl. And make our way through here. Okay, it helps if I walk into the door. We have 2 character tokens to get in this room. This first one, Lucius is just going to fight through kind of waves of monsters here, which spawn from the books. On the other side of things, Hermione is going to be doing a book puzzle, which hopefully I don't mess up. Let's go. So yeah, Lucius gets a token here, and then we get to see some of the most goofy physics in this game, which is this library card physics. If things go wrong, you'll be able to see it's certainly something to behold when that happens. But yeah, anytime this cart like gets on its side or runs into a wall or anything, a lot of physics can happen. Like wherever Hermione's just headed off to there. I don't know how easy that was to see, but Hermione just flew off into the sunset somewhere. Honestly, that's a shame. I didn't get to fully show that off in a marathon, because sometimes those cart physics go incredibly insane. But anyway, instead now we will make our way through here, going into the Great Hall. Starting off in this entrance hall, there's 2 tokens to get. One on this side for Witch White. There's a lot of default characters in this game. And then another variation of Harry. But yeah, there's a lot of default characters in this game for some reason. That are like just more generic characters to fill the roster. Rather than kind of unique characters and stuff from the films or the books or anything. I feel like there was more they definitely could have added, but decided not to. And instead they decided to add the more generic characters. But we're going to head up to the bathroom section for a little bit. And we're going to go into the boys' bathroom. Because this game set it out. Obviously, the girls' bathroom is required in story in year 2. Because that's where Moaning Myrtle is, etc. The boys' bathroom isn't required in story, so they decided to make the boys' bathroom a bonus area. So there's a parcel you can collect here, which is ×8 studs. And a few other things, I think. There's, I think, a gold brick that spawns here somewhere as well. Which is like the main currency, I guess, for 100%ing this game. But then also there's this very nice token, which we can get. And with that being said, the bathrooms are now cleared out. And we're going to continue making our way through different sections. We have 2 very cool rooms coming up. And these are our Wingardium Leviosa and our Lumos lesson rooms. So these rooms you use right at the very start of the game in year 1 if you're playing like an any %. But in both of them, they both have a sub-area which has a token, as well as one character token in their main area. We're going to get this character token with Lucius. This is the best character in the game, of course, which is just a boy. I think actually girl appears somewhere as well. I think in one of these areas. I honestly can't remember. But then we're going to do another pet warp here, which is using Wingardium Leviosa on Hermione while she's pulling out Crookshanks, and that allows us to leave the room quicker rather than having to deal with going back kind of the normal way you're supposed to. Girl is right after. Oh, fair. But yeah, we also have a very cool strat in this room, where Hermione will come up to the top level here and will do kind of an exaggerated pet warp known as a wrong warp. And the way we do this is by doing a pet warp while Hermione is falling off an edge. Not only does the pet move to 0-0 on the map, he moves to 0-0 on the map. And in this case, 0-0 happens to be in the sub-area right next to where the token is. So we save a lot of time of actually, like, traveling to the sub-area just to grab this token, which is Professor Flitwick. And yeah, those two rooms are very cool. I really like the route for both of them. So we are now going to go into this room. This room is a massive room. A big kind of gauntlet of tokens that we need to get. We're going to start off with these torches, which I believe I've got nearly all of them. I think I'm missing 2 maybe. But I know where both of those are. There we go, one is here. And then one is just at the top up here. But thankfully, you know, to make this room a bit easier, we do revisit this room multiple times. So we will be now heading down once we hit that to start the spawning process for that token, because that animation takes a while. We then break this gate and go into Transfiguration. Obviously, we've completed the main Transfiguration to be able to have the spell. But this part of Transfiguration we haven't really come across yet. There's a few tokens, or 2 tokens we want to get here. In fact, this is one of the few times in this run where we will also spawn a gold brick alongside the character token. Gold bricks, like I said, are the kind of main currency for 100% in this game. So we use them a decent amount. Oh, sorry. They're the main currency for 100%, but of course we don't need to spawn them a lot. Because we only need to do it where it's necessary to spawn them in order to either leave a room or also get a token. And we'll see that here. Both of them spawn at the same time, but we can kind of go around the gold brick and just worry about the token. So we get Professor McGonagall from that. And can continue through here. And we're going to go to do a couple of things here. This room in particular is quite intense. I also did the wrong thing here. This room in particular is quite intense because we're going to do a couple of things. The first thing we're going to be doing with Hermione is Hermione's getting the earmuffs for a mandrake in this room, which we need to use to break these kind of glass objects. And the mandrake spawns all the way up here, which is a little bit annoying, which means we kind of have to take this roundabout route to get all of the tokens. At the same time, Lucius will be scaring the student into giving a token, because of course. And then we'll be heading up the same set of stairs, because there's one more token for Lucius to get. Which is right here. And there's one more piece of glass to break, which we do so, and that gives us Ernie Macmillan. And from there, we can make our way into here, and this is another Leviosa lift room. So this is using Leviosa on a character 0, 0, or 0 in the height direction on the map is high enough that we can use Leviosa to be able to just straight up lift us up to that kind of upper level in a way that we definitely should not be able to do. Otherwise, it's quite long and complicated to be able to go through that room, but it's a lot simpler when you can just kind of cheat it like that. But now we've got to deal with kind of all the adjacent classrooms that kind of come off this lesson room. So in this room, there are 2 things we need to be able to spawn the character tokens. We need to hit 4 books and use 4 torches. We've already done the torches, and I was not paying attention to the puzzle. No one saw that. I definitely didn't mess up the simple puzzle twice. No one saw either attempt at that. So there we have our last 2 pairs of books. And then we are going to build this. Once we get the pieces, there we go. And in this kind of sub-area lesson classroom, there is not just one area more hidden attached to this one, there is 2 more areas. So we'll see the first one of them here, which is our gear room. And to get the 2 tokens in this room, oh, I didn't mean to use that. To get the 2 tokens in this room, we have to hit 7 lamps and also these 3 banners. So the 7th lamp is just here, like so. And we get the version of Victor Crumb. And then once we do that, we can head into the second room. This room is quite a long section, so there is a decent bit of downtime, which is nice. A bit more time to kind of heal a little bit. Oh, if I don't jump straight into the pendulum. But there's also a bit of a small kind of micro optimizations you can do here. Oh, helps if I'm paying attention to the screen. We get this token, Professor Quirrell, and this room is one of the few rooms where we actually need to collect everything, including the gold brick here. The gold brick is like key to allowing us to escape this room, which is a little bit weird to think of, but yeah. That is the way it goes. Hey, we have the webcam back. Let's go. That is, in fact, the mandrake we just used. That is the mandrake from the kind of outer classroom area just here. It's this mandrake which is hiding in here, kind of sat at the bottom of the stairs. So I'm glad we could see that return. But yes, this room has thankfully no extra sub areas attached to it, even though it looks relatively identical to the previous sub area. There's no extra sub areas attached to it. We do have to get 2 tokens here, which is the cobwebs, which Hermione's hitting the first one of here. Lucius should be getting the second one. And then also the torches, which once again we already got. And that is our kind of main classroom area done, which is very nice. We're going to head out to kind of the outer courtyard area a bit more here. But first off, we actually need to change characters. I did say this was the main loadout for like 90% of things we need in this run. But we do also need a grip hook here. Because grip hook is the only character in the entire game that can open vaults. Kind of the goblin vaults. I guess they didn't add a second character in that could do that. So we need him just here. And at the same time, we have Lucius to be able to unlock this token with dark magic. And yes, that gives us Professor Trelawney. So we have a small bit here with the broomstick. Oh, I went past that one. There we go. Interestingly enough, it doesn't save much time at all to have Harry on the broomstick versus, like, any regular adult character. I think Harry's a lot quicker than Ron and Hermione because they have their own, like, specific animations, but it's pretty much whoever you want other than that. In this room, we're also going to have a bit more 1p2c, as we are going to be changing characters a little bit. This is, let's be Hermione. This is another kind of slower room here. What we've got to do is two big tasks. We've got to use this plunger to, like, clean up the goop that's dotted around. And at the same time, we have to break the glass with the mandrakes, with the mandrake that's dotted around this area. So I'll be trying my best to do both kind of simultaneously. This is where, you know, having two controllers in at the same time really does speed things up. It gets really frustrating if you just end up accidentally walking into a wall with one player, which I know for a fact can definitely happen. But we have a bit of downtime with player 2, as player 2's task finished a lot quicker than player 1. So we're going to change our characters back. We need Harry back in our loadout, I believe. We kind of just want another wizard character as we head our way up to the clock tower. We do have one of the more annoying sections in this game here, shooting the torches dotted around the side to be able to spawn the character tokens. It's a very hidden kind of one that you have to do, but it does spawn this token in the middle. And then we need to get this token on the right, or on the left, sorry, as well. We're going to get some stairs here. Thankfully, because of Lumos jumping, we only need to worry about clicking a couple of these stairs into place. Although with fast magic, they don't always like to click into place. Alright, that should work. But yeah, we can double jump by activating Lumos, switching off, and then spamming jump. And we use that to get up to the higher height. But yeah, we have, again, another small, slower section in here in this clock tower. So if we do have any messages, I'm not sure, Miney, if you're around, then go crazy.
Here. You don't want to tell me to go crazy. Okay, so we don't have any donations, unfortunately, but I will remind people you can donate using !donate. The link is as always pinned at the top of the chat. We're raising money, as always, for the Trevor Project. which is the leading suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQI plus young people. They work to save young lives by providing support for free and confidential suicide prevention and crisis intervention programs on platforms where young people spend most of their time. They offer support through a 24/7 phone lifeline, chat, text, and through their purpose-built forum site Trevor Space. They also provide public education, engage in advocacy efforts, and develop research. Currently, we have a number of incentives going. The next the incentives that are ongoing are that you can contribute towards the two names for the legacy run tomorrow, the first day race. So if you want to see the name that you choose on there, you can redeem that for $25. And if you want to contribute towards the house that Skillet will be doing, currently there's a tie between Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. So if you want to see a different house, take the lead, then you can do that by contributing towards that poll. Also, we are currently $15 away from matching Potterthon 7 Part 2, which was the 20-year relay race that we did, or relay run that we did to celebrate 20 years of the first games coming out. So, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Remember, every little helps. If you can, please do donate, but if you can't, just share it in the stream, telling a friend. Can really make all the difference. Let's try and raise as much as we can for some good causes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a fantastic cause, as always, that we're raising money for. So yeah, any donations are very much appreciated by kind of everyone here, including myself. Although I'm not on the the main organization team for this race, you know, I do really appreciate any donations we can have to any of these causes. It would be great if we could hit 200 by the end of this run. No pressure on you guys, but I think that would be a nice milestone to be able to hit. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think tons of incentives, always a good sign. And yeah, let's get some donations rolling in. In the meantime, though, we have basically just been clearing out the owlery as we've been going. Like I said, a little bit of a slower section, but is mostly done now, and we will be making our way back and going to a couple of other sub areas we have. The first one of them will be the clock tower sub area, which I think I was meant to go to before the owlery, but I kind of forgot. Which is fine. We can go back at any time. It's not a problem. But I was right. We do need Harry for it because Harry has Parseltongue. And we're going to see that right here. Harry's going to go up to this upper level here and use Parseltongue to be able to spawn the snake, and as a result elect a token, which is Vernon Dursley, which is ironic because it's probably one of the tokens Harry himself would want to collect the least, but here we are. Then see here, one more token here, and Hermione has now got to go up to the upper level. We can kind of skip how we go up to the upper level with Hermione though, with a Lumos jump off of this, I guess, valve thing. We can get up to this upper level, and hopefully this time I won't mess up the puzzle. Let's go. First try. And as a result, we are able to leave this kind of time turner section. It is a nice thing this game does, having those kind of flashback time turner sections. I do find them really cool. Just as a small little extra thing. And then, yeah, we are going to go to the greenhouses. And these greenhouses are pretty simple. There's only a couple of tokens we need here, actually. Only one or two. So I spawned one there, and we're going to get another here with Hermione, which involves using the Mandrake, which means we have to use the wardrobe to get earmuffs, and then Hermione will just be walking around here, breaking all the glass we can. And there's 5 pieces of glass for Hermione to break. Meanwhile, Harry is kind of going up to where the last bit of glass is and clearing the path a little bit. Because clearing the path for some reason also spawns another token, which is Drummer. Shoutouts to Drumsticks, who was in the chat a little bit earlier. But yeah, that's another part of the band. I think I mentioned the band earlier in this run, but for some reason they added a 4-part band to this game. I have never played with any of the characters, but surely at some point that'll change. I also missed 1 piece of glass, which is just here. And that should be all 5, and we get Professor Sprout. And then we pick up Fleur from here. And that is us done with the greenhouses. And then we will be going back and doing some broomstick flying. For some reason, this area on the left, even though we can see it pretty plainly as the broomstick flying area, when you enter here, it is a completely different area. And that means it has character tokens. In fact, 2 character tokens we need. This is another place where we spawn a character token kind of alongside a gold brick. It's a bit annoying to focus on this with 2 players at the same time, because the camera does do some crazy things sometimes. Like, Crookshanks is somewhere, not sure where. Okay, there we go. But meanwhile, Harry will be flying through these rings, hopefully. And we've got 1 more left, I think. Yes. So that spawns the gold brick and the character token. If I do this well, we should be able to avoid collecting the gold brick. Yep. Coming at it around the sides, we avoid the gold brick, because of course collecting the gold brick will lose us a little bit of time. And then we have to leave once again through this gate here. And we can make our way down to the Quidditch entrance, because that's actually the next bit we have. But we do need to reset our characters, because by entering Broomsticks Flying, we reset to Harry, Ron, and Hermione. But we still need our Dark Magic character and Lucius Malfoy to be here for a couple more things. We've got to clear out this corridor as well, which is just a couple more things we have to deal with here. These lamps are 1. And then these, like, painting things in the wall. Should be another one here. And that gives us Madam Pince. And then we can make our way down to the Quidditch area. I'm going to use the Polyjuice Potion again here to get Fang. Because Fang is the fastest character, also the only character that has strength. So it's very useful in this place. Take the broomstick here with Malfoy. And then we have this kind of outside area, which is our last big area that we have to clear out in this run. This run is most likely going pretty decently underestimate, if I had to guess right now. Obviously, that is touch wood, because especially in the overworld, this game does like to crash. So hopefully I haven't just cursed it. But what I'm also going to be doing here with Lucius is spawning 4 carrots, which give us a token. Percy Weasley, in fact. And then we will be making our way through here. And again, a couple of things we need to deal with here. These flags are one of those things. Hermione will be dealing with most of these flags, while Lucius tends to the popcorn machine. We get our first of these flags, which is Padma Patil. Normally, if we were doing this from a new file, we'd use Padma Patil as our Ravenclaw character. And get her somewhat significantly earlier than we did end up doing it this run. We chose to use Grey Lady instead, because you can pick up Grey Lady from a level. get Ravenclaw Boy as well, and that is this section done. And then one of the reasons why we have Fang is because of this movement speed to go over here. It just allows him to dig a little bit quicker. And we have to do the popcorn machine part 2. Which is kind of funny. And this gives us George. And that is all we need to leave this area. We can go back down to... We go down to the lake now, which is kind of one of our other areas that we have to do. But before we do, we get to have a quick ride in the pumpkin hat to collect the 3 tokens that are kind of hovering in the air. We also get a lot of money from these tokens, which would be useful if we hadn't bought anything already. It is very useful when we do 100% runs of this game. Where is the last token? There you are. It's Ginny in a cardigan. And then we can make our way down to the lake. And yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say we've only got about 4 minutes left maybe of this run. So we are definitely going to go underestimate. Which is quite surprising. At least this far underestimate anyway. We spawn this student in peril here. That is a student in peril we can't avoid. Because we need the student in peril to get out the way so that we can get the character token. And then on the other side of things, we have this kind of mole thing here that we need to hit to give us another token. Which gives us the bassist. So we pretty much almost have the whole band now. And we'll now be going into Hagrid's Garden to end off this run. One thing I'm being very careful of here is not switching to Fang. Because in Hagrid's Garden, if you spawn in with Fang, then it makes the section a lot more difficult because all of a sudden you have one less human player. We do need Fang for like one thing, from what I remember. Oh, no, that is in the Time Turner section, which we'll be coming across very soon. The Time Turner sections for each of these levels are like bonus sections, I guess. In the same area, but like in a different state, I guess, rolled back to an earlier time. So we collect these 2 tokens. We don't actually help Ron with his eating slugs. We kind of just let him do his thing, really. Instead, we go into the Time Turner version of Hagrid's Garden, and we have 2 more tokens to collect here, so time is coming up very, very soon. That's 1, and then hopefully if this has gone well, this should be time. I'll pause when I check that I've got 166 out of 167. And time. Okay, that was a really good run. Yeah, I was not expecting that to be that quick. So we have 166 out of 167 tokens. That is because the 167th token is locked in the final Voldemort bonus level. And it's not a token which you collect. It's just a thing that it's like a character you get basically on playing that level. But in order to unlock that level, you need all 200 gold bricks, which is not possible to do without, you know, spawning or collecting some tokens. So we don't get, unfortunately, every character. We get all but one, but it still makes for a very, very fun speedrun, in my opinion. And
Yeah. Oh,
sorry, no, carry on.
Yeah, I was going to hop in and say it was a really cool run, unique run. I would love to see runs that are not necessarily on boards. Um, Makes it interesting to see. But yeah, that's a really awesome run. Thank you very much, Paxo. We'll be hearing you at least tomorrow. Because you're going to be doing some commentary for another Lego run that we've got tomorrow. So we've got more Lego for you guys tomorrow. I'm excited. I love Lego. Um, but yeah, thank you very much for your run. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, I'll do some final shout outs. Shout outs obviously go to all, you guys from the HP community and the Potterthon organization community for organizing this event. Every year, or well, twice every year now we have Pottergon. It's really fun to kind of watch some HP runs, but also get to kind of show off our own little niche Lego games that we have. Shout outs, of course, to the other series mods for Lego. So Chimkin, Justin, Prince, Laser Trap, and Gus as well. Huge shout outs to them. Shout outs to the mods of the Lego Harry Potter games. We have obviously, well, we have myself, but we also have Chimkin, Force, and Chester, who are all a really good team. And yeah, if you're interested in learning any of the Lego runs, we do have our Lego Harry Potter Discord if you want to check that out. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for having me here showing off this run, and yeah, I'll be back tomorrow commentating Origins run.
Awesome. And yes, if you guys do want to find the Lego Discord, it is linked in every resources channel in all four of the main Discords. I believe it's also linked in Legacy's one as well. I'll just double check that before I say for sure. But yeah, a huge thank you to the Lego community as always for being so willing to get involved. But yeah, yes, it is also linked in Legacy's Discord. So no matter which of the part of speedrunning servers you're in, you should be able to find the Lego community. They are lovely over there, lovely chaps, as you've seen here today. But yeah, we're going to go into a transition, and hopefully we're going to have a Sammy Pebbles for you. I say hopefully because Miney, being the idiot that I am, accidentally added the wrong Sammy to the group where we were talking to the runners. And I've just realised it. So hopefully we'll have a Sammy Pebbles for you in a few minutes. But if not, then I might just do a little dance. Right, guys, we'll be back soon. Don't go away. We'll have something for you.